جاد من فضله قبل السؤال وكم أعطى وأغنى بمحض الجود والكرم الله يعلم ما نشكو من الألم.
Listen, I know morning routines are important. I know these videos do super well on YouTube and whatever, but it's like, let's be honest here. If you end up sleeping late, it's pretty obvious that you're gonna also wake up late as well. So like a night routine will literally determine how you will wake up the next day. But it's a lot bigger than just waking up the next day. Of course, you want to wake up the next day, but also having a productive Islamic based night routine will literally give you more barakah and hasanat when you go to sleep. So I'm sure if you've seen all this passive income sort of BS with like, make money in your sleep, just use this and you'll make free money. You've seen this passive income BS. Well, most of that is BS because come on, like, but this time it's actually not BS. This is called passive barakah. I've made that term up, but passive barakah. If you do some of the stuff that I recommend, if you have a productive night routine, you can probably, inshallah, get passive barakah while you sleep. What the heck? That's crazy. Listen, I'll be honest with you, my younger self needed this routine more than everyone else. I didn't even know what a routine was. My day started when it became nighttime. My day started the moment it turned 12 a.m. That's when the real fun started. I would spend the first 2 to 3 hours from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. just grinding video games, playing as much as possible, having as fun as possible, just grinding these video games. Fortnite, you name it, Rocket League. I was kind of good, honestly. I was pretty good, but you know what I mean. And then when the games got boring and then I became tired from playing games, I would head to my bed and get straight to my favorite passive time spending activity, scrolling on social media. I would spend the next 1 to 2 hours watching the golden balance on TikTok, learning how to cook, but then not actually taking anything in. I was just watching it because I seen delicious food and I was quite a fat ass. Either way, this sounds all fun and games until you realize I was pretty much borderline depressed. I was living like a junkie. I had zero purpose, zero motivation, zero ability to do something with my life, and I spent basically all my days and my nights, especially my nights, absolutely self-sabotaging myself. And then that led to more depression. So I kept getting more depressed, and then I did more bad habits, and then it's a spiral of depression. And so let me tell you right now, in order to have a productive morning routine that you want to have, you need to have a productive night routine as well to back it up. Because again, if you end up sleeping at 2 a.m. and you want to wake up at 6 a.m., 4 hours of sleep is not going to do you well. Let's be honest here. As disciplined as you want to be the next day, we also have to be disciplined when we have our downtime as well. All right, let's get to this. I'm going to be transparent with you. Sometimes I have days off. All right, sometimes I don't really follow my night routine, and that's fine. That's okay. That's part of life. Allah will test his believers in many ways, and you will just sometimes not follow through. However, I have been doing this night routine, especially my specific one, for 4 months now, and honestly, insane. It's changed the way I go to bed. It's amazing. I get passive barakah when I sleep. I also, feel better. I feel more relaxed. It's game changer. James Clear, the author of the best-selling book Atomic Habits, talked about what habits are and what routines are. He mentions in the book that a habit is a routine or behavior that is done regularly and sometimes even automatically. And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions 1400 plus years ago, he said, take up good deeds as much as you are able, for the best deeds are done regularly even if they are few. So instead of doing 50 different routines and 50 different habits when we go to bed, like journaling, meditating, and everything that we can think of, just do maybe one. Okay, let's make it easy. Let's do like 3 to 4 good habits that can compound over time. And if you do them regularly, that's better than doing 50 good habits. You know what I mean? And James Clear talks about the compounding effect. He says that instead of doing 50 things at one night, for example, right? Instead of doing 50 things, 50 good habits in a night routine, and then, doing it inconsistently, and maybe you do the night routine once a month or something, it's easier and it's a lot better if we do a simple night routine, stick to it for the rest of our lives, and that will lead to more and more growth over time. That is how the gym works, right? When you go to the gym and you don't really notice any effects right away. You don't see your muscles growing right away. However, the more you compoundly go to the gym 6 times a week, 5 times a week, and you do them day in, day out without seeing any results, and then after you look at yourself in the mirror and you're jacked out of your mind. That's how the gym works. And over time, if you keep doing the good habits in a night routine, what's going to happen is all of a sudden, in a few months from now, you are going to legitimately wake up so much more refreshed, so much more productive, and you'll exactly know what to do and how to go about your day. So a night routine is a foundation to having a good morning routine. So we cannot neglect this part. So let's get into how you can create your own. So the first thing I typically do is I wind down 1 hour before bed, because come on, I know we're the type of people to say like, oh, I go to bed at 11 p.m. But do you go to sleep at 11 p.m.? Right? We always try to calculate from the moment we get into bed, but we don't necessarily sleep right away when we step into bed, right? I guess at least I don't. For example, I used to tell people, oh yeah, I slept at 11, but I went to bed at 11. I didn't sleep at 11. You know what I mean? And so I wind down 1 hour before I go to bed. Why? Because I want to make sure that I put some time between when I want to actually sleep. So if I want to sleep at 11, I'll be in bed by max 10:30. So then I give myself 30 minutes to actually fall asleep, and by 11 I'll be asleep, inshallah. You know what I mean? Everything closes for me. You see the screen behind me, you see all these lights or whatever, everything closes. When the moment it becomes, I don't know, 9:30, 10, everything closes down, because I want to sleep by 11. I have a reminder on my Alexa to tell me, oh yeah, it's like bedtime. You know what I mean? So I close everything down, I turn everything off, and that's it. I'm off my computer, I'm off my desk. Second, what I do is I make sure that I don't eat 2 hours before I go to sleep. So I typically eat at around max 8 p.m. max. I don't really want to eat anything after that, and I typically realize this because it affects the way I go to bed. Like, I legitimately cannot sleep. I'm a testament to this. I went off my words yesterday, okay? Sometimes I fall off, and I gotta be honest with you. Yesterday, I ate pretty late, okay? I ate at around 10. And I'm gonna make the excuse of I'm bulking, but realistically, I shouldn't be eating at 10. As I just mentioned, I normally eat at max 8 p.m. And so what happened was I couldn't go to bed. Literally yesterday night, I couldn't sleep. I slept at maybe 3:30 a.m. You understand what that is, right? So typically, I know that's ironic. I'm talking about a night routine video, but then I can't follow my own night routine. But typically, I do follow my night routines pretty strictly, okay? Sometimes I have my off days. So I don't eat. I close everything down. And then, right now, it's like 1 hour before I actually sleep. What happens then is Isha time. That then happens, I pray Isha, boom, out of the way. After I'm done praying Isha, I make sure that I, check the house, all the doors are locked and whatever. You know what I mean? I don't want to get robbed. And so after that, I fill up my water bottle. So the next morning when I wake up, I can drink right away. I don't typically like to drink a lot of water before I go to bed. And the reason is because I have to, get up in the middle of the night to go to the washroom, and it's gonna break my sleep, right? And sometimes it happens, but typically I don't really like to drink a lot of water. After that, I typically focus on making the room as dark as possible. This is scientifically proven to help you get deeper sleep. And you might be one of like me, I can't really sleep with a lot of light. It kind of pisses me off, and so that's why I literally make everything as dark as possible, as much as I can. And then that's scientifically proven to help you get deeper sleep and to help you actually fall into sleep. Second is really essential for me. Also, heat. I cannot sleep with heat, and so I make sure I have a fan at all times blowing in my face, or at least going around. And I need that fan so I can get into sleep. And this is scientifically proven as well, is that you want to have a cool room. You want to make the room as cool as possible before you actually go to bed or before you actually sleep. And this is scientifically, again, helps you get a deeper sense of sleep, which is also important to the bed sheets you're using. I didn't realize this, but I was using polyester bed sheets before, and those trap up so much heat. It's actually disgusting to sleep after. If you feel like crap. And the moment you switch to the brown people cotton sheets with the weird flower designs, for some reason those feel like clouds, right? And so use cotton sheets or bamboo sheets if you have money. I don't know. And then I hit straight to bed. This is where the magic happens, if you know what I mean. What I do is I get my daily planner. I can actually show you my daily planner. Where is it? And this is my daily planner. I don't think you can see it, but I pretty much use this in order to plan what I'm going to be doing the next day, right? And so I plan every night. And if I had to say one habit that changed the course of my discipline and my self-improvement, is planning what I'm going to be doing the night before, and specifically planning what task I'm going to be doing and exactly my routine, right? Following a routine is the single biggest thing that you should be doing, but also planning the night before helps so much, because when you wake up, you know exactly what to do. And so I just sit in my bed and I plan exactly what I'm going to be doing, and sometimes I get confused and stuff like that, whatever. I have to figure that out, right? But I plan the night before. A big reason why people procrastinate is a lack of clarity, and a lack of clarity on exactly how to do their task or what to do on that day. So if you wake up and you don't know what to do, you are going to procrastinate, because your brain is going to, first of all, when you don't know how to do a task, like a math question, your brain automatically thinks of how hard it's going to be. And so like your brain gets anxious and you start becoming like, oh, I don't know if I can do this right now. And you automatically start to feel like it's going to be really painful to do that hard math question. And when it becomes painful, that's when you try to avoid the pain by procrastinating, because we humans are actually naturally inclined to move away from pain. So whenever we think of something as painful, we're not going to want to do it. And that's why a lack of clarity is what leads to a lot of people procrastinating. So if you know exactly what to do, if you write down step by step, this is how I have to do the task, this is when I have to do it, then that clarity will help with the procrastination. All right, so you want to make sure you're clear on what to do. And then when I'm done planning, when I'm done everything else, that's when I start to wind down properly, right? That's when I get the Kindle app on my phone or the Quran app on my phone and I read some Quran, right? What I also do is, this is where the passive barakah starts, right? This is where we start getting the hasanat. This is something that, if you're good at already stacking habits, I recommend you do it. But if you're new to stacking habits, if you're new to having new routines, I don't recommend you do this completely, and I'll explain how later. But what I first do is I read Surah Mulk every single night. Alhamdulillah, I've been doing it for months and months and months. Alhamdulillah, every single night I read Surah Mulk. That is one of the most important parts. It protects you from the torment of the grave. It will intercede for you on the day of judgment as well. And so read it every single night. It takes like 5 to 6 minutes max to read Surah Mulk. So I read that, and then I get straight into the 3 goals, right? When you do the last 3 goals, you read the last 3 surahs of the Quran, and you blow into the cup of your hand, and you spit, and then do that 3 times. I'll leave the hadith on screen right now. Follow it. Maybe watch a video on how to do it. But that's what I do, and that pretty much helps you from the shayateen. It protects you. And also what I do after that is read Ayatul Kursi, right? Ayatul Kursi, Prophet Muhammad used to do it every single night, and it protects you again from the shayateen at nighttime. And they literally, shaitan won't come to you until dawn. So you're pretty much protected the entire night. And there's other things you could do, like making wudu and dusting your bed. I recommend doing all of that stuff as well, but this is what I'm doing right now. Now, as the Prophet Muhammad said, do not do like 20 habits at one night and then not be consistent with it. I want you to be consistent with it. So if you can do literally just the 4 habits that I mentioned, which is to make your room dark, to make your room cool, to leave off 1 hour before you actually want to sleep. Like if you want to sleep at 11 p.m., go be in bed by 10:30 max, or 10 o'clock p.m. max, right? And so do those 3 things. Maybe read Ayatul Kursi. If you can just do those 4 things, which literally takes maybe 5 minutes altogether max. If you can do this every single day, that will lead to bigger growth than doing 10 other good habits, but then you're doing it like maybe once a month, or maybe you do it once and then you forget about it. You know what I mean? Due to the arrogance and the ego and the lack of attention span that most people have nowadays, they're gonna think, oh, what is that gonna do for me? I don't know. What is making the room cold gonna do for me every single night? Like, they don't understand the effect of compounding. But a Muslim, a good Muslim and a warrior Muslim understands that. They're like, no, I understand that habits build over time, results build over time. The more I do these every single day, it will eventually lead to more and more growth. And just like the gym, I don't notice my muscles growing right away, but the more I do it every single week, all of a sudden I'm jacked, right? And it's the exact same thing. It compounds over time. And so if you can just do 4 to 5 habits, easy habits that take 5 minutes max every single night, that is a lot more better than doing 10 habits, right? I don't want your ego to get in the way of this, because your ego is going to be like, oh, what the heck? Why is he leaving so much hasanat? Let's see if you can even stick to this. If you can stick to this for a good amount of time, then you can change your ways. Then you can add in more things. But right now you're at the stage where I'm gonna guess you're not really disciplined. You don't really know how to stick with habits. And so stick with this every single night, and you'll literally notice yourself and your ability to sleep, and that when you wake up, you'll notice everything change within a month, right? I've seen the difference, and I'm sure you will, especially if you were what I was, right? I was in the worst of night routines. I had no routine. My night started, and like my fun started when the night came. And so I want to let you know, stick with this for as long as you can, and you'll see the effects and you'll see it change. But the issue is most people can't stick with it. And so that's why I want to make it as easy as possible for you to stick with it. You know what I mean? And here is an ayah that is very important. Allah will never change, your life. Allah will never change or help you unless you actually change the state of your faith yourself, unless you actually change yourself and you take some action. All right. So thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum. I love you. Bye. Subscribe.